welcome. This is Jane Gardner, and welcome to Solopreneur Success Strategies. Today is not a very good lit day, so let's go and change that for you. Today is Jill or Jack of all trades Thursday, and obviously I didn't change my white balance correctly. So as a Jill or Jack of all trades, I try and get it looking fairly decent. So let's have a look. And I'm looking a little yellow today, but at least it's need to add a little bit of brightness, I think. There we go. Anyway, you won't have to look at me for very long. Today is Jill or Jack of all trades Thursday, and I want to say that today we're going to be looking at PayPal again. Today it's going to be about PayPal Sandbox. For those of you who don't know, when you're putting a PayPal button onto your website, you can actually test whether or not your PayPal link is working and you're processing your payments correctly through your website and through PayPal. So it's a good thing to have a test done called the PayPal Sandbox area at PayPal in order for you to make sure that you're getting your payments correctly. And of course, your subscribers are subscribing correctly and your invoices are being paid correctly, etc., etc. So we're not going to actually look at setting up the Sandbox account itself because it's new now. Of course, as I mentioned with PayPal, they've just changed their layout. So, but we have got a good idea on how to actually do a PayPal Sandbox. So we'll go over that today, and then next week maybe we'll actually do one in the current PayPal Sandbox lookout. It is actually at developer.paypal.com. So it's not actually on PayPal itself. When you go into your PayPal account and you set up your business account, and of course you've been creating your PayPal buttons, etc. Down at the bottom usually and we'll go through it next week, there is a thing that says a link that says developer, and that will go to their website that's for developers called developer.paypal.com. So we're going to have a look at a quick video on how to set up a PayPal button. And well, not how to set it up, but how to test your PayPal buy button and make sure that it's working correctly and it does the transaction correctly. So let's have a look at that training now. So this is your PayPal, developer.paypal.com. It looks a bit different than this, in fact, more complex actually in the new PayPal. So we'll have a look at that next week and maybe create one there, and how to create an account and how to get into your PayPal developer account, because there's quite a few other things that you can do in your PayPal developer account. But for us, we just want to know about how to test our PayPal buttons. So in your PayPal account, developer.paypal.com, you look for Sandbox, and then you can go and you create some Sandbox test accounts. It creates a fake email account based on your current email account and for your business, and there's also one for your personal, and we'll have a look at everything in a minute. But so this is basically like a sandbox. It's a place for you to play with your PayPal buttons and see if they work that you have created. So let's have a start with this video here, and basically he's created a web page, and at the bottom there's a place for the PayPal button. But for when you do a sandbox test, you have to create a separate, obviously, sales page. You can call it paypaltest.com. And then you have a link. You write those down in your notepad, as well as you also write down your sandbox login credentials, which we'll look at next week. And his has been simply called fake mybiz at PayPal, seller email, and then also you can put it creates a buyer email for you, as well as a password for you to log in. Now, when you're in Sandbox, area of the developer account. In previous episodes, previous system, you could enter the Sandbox site, and it creates a separate area. So it's called sandbox.paypal.com. And then you put in your fake email and your fake password. So do you take your fake email for you as a, as a seller, and your fake password, which is the same as, it's not the same as your current password, it's a fake password, and you go into sandbox.paypal.com. And in there you can, at the top, it shows that you're logged in. You have to log in first into PayPal, and stay logged in in your PayPal account. And then it has a test site for you for the PayPal. And then you did a few transactions already, but it's basically called sandbox.paypal.com. And so in sandbox.paypal.com, you create another PayPal button, but you don't use the usual create a PayPal button. You go over and you have to do maybe in the news section you don't have to do this, but in here he had to do a redirect of a My Saved button, because it was the same button for PayPal, go straight to PayPal, so that didn't work. So we'll look next week as to how it works now, but the redirect was to go to the save buttons that you had and then open them up. But because you're still in sandbox.paypal.com, and you create a new button, and you can, because you're in Sandbox, it will create you a sandbox.paypal.button, and so you enter all your information that you usually do. So we're going to do a buy now button. So he's going to do a buy now button, and then he's going to put in a price, and he's going to test that price, and he's going to go and fill in the links that you need, etc., to go to various places, like back to the home page. You obviously don't want shipping because it's not a real transaction, where you put in all the links that you want when they cancel the checkout, as well as the link that you want when they actually finish the checkout, so you can test those as well, actually using a test. Test download, and then you copy the button code. So this button code is actually for a Sandbox. As you can see, it's sandbox.paypal.com button. He uses the email link rather than the total code, just to make it easier on himself. So, but as you can see, it's to the website that's sandbox.paypal.com. So at no time are you going into PayPal. It's going to be a Sandbox area. So you open up your your sales page in an HTML editor like composer.net, and then you go into the code down where your button is. Although it's actually quicker in Composer, you can just click a link and put your link in there, and it will paste it in yourself for you. So Composer is good that way. I have a training on that as well. So, okay, so now you're going to upload it to your website using FileZilla, which is another training that I have. And it will be in your website as a PayPal test. So it'll go under your public underscore HTML as PayPal test. And so you'll be able to know what link it is, or it's already there actually, and then you just overwritten the button. So now this is the PayPal test website, and so now you click on the PayPal button, which he has created as a fancy button for himself, and you can see that it's going to go to sandbox.paypal.com. So let's have a click on that button and see where it goes. Oh, he's just going back to, oh no, you have to log out, of course, out of the test site as well in order to do it, because you want to be able to test it as a fake person. So he's going to log out and log out as himself as well. Okay, so now he's going to go back and test the button after that. So we're going to have a spreadsheet. As you can see, this goes to sandbox.paypal.com, and it's a test store. He's called it a test store. And it's using his fake email, and he puts in his Sandbox password. He can put in a seller's, a buyer name and email, and then use the password to go in and pay now. And when you go and have a look, it's paid to the test store, and it's using the fake email, and it's added in some information on the fake person. And then it shows that it goes to download to the download page. So all your links are working correctly. You've used a fake email. And when you go into your Sandbox site, you should be able to see notifications that you have actually done a transaction, that a payment has been received to the fake seller, obviously. And then also the fake buyer has gotten a receipt for their payment to the test store. And also, so of course, the receipts is all sent very similar to how it looks when you're creating it for your business. So this is great because what it does is you're able to see how everything looks when you are doing a transaction, and it's well worth doing for every payment that you do through PayPal, because it's going to show you whether or not there's any glitches in your system. And especially if you're going to do a product launch and want to do a lot of sales, or doing some advertising, and you're going to have several mass sales of you want to make sure that it all works correctly for the buyer, that they get their receipt for their payment, and also they get their link to your download, and you get your payment. So you want to make sure all your links are working correctly. So Sandbox, just as you play in the Sandbox when you were a youngster, they're calling it Sandbox here for testing your PayPal button. And also, of course, testing. You can test PayPal subscriptions and all kinds of other systems in there as well. So we'll have a look at it next week, just to show you the new interface for Sandbox, because it's a little bit trickier, and maybe sign up for a few fake emails and maybe test. I'll have to get a page done for you to put a button on and test it, so you can see that it's you don't have to be you can actually test when you put on a payment button onto your website to make sure that everything is working correctly. So that wasn't too hard, was it? So as a Jill or Jack of all trades, it's great to be able to know the skills that you need in order to make money. So next time we'll look at the current PayPal website, Sandbox, which is at developer.paypal.com. And if you want to look at some of the previous skills that we've been doing, you can go to subscribe to my YouTube channel at jgtips.com/YouTube. On that site, I'm making a channel for each of the days. So Jill or Jack of all trades. I'm not sure if I started that one yet, but you should be able to find some of the previous episodes on PayPal. So until next time, this is Jane Gardner, and subscribe to jane-gardner.com, and you'll learn all you need to know to be a Jill or Jack of all trades.